Please rise for pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for one moment to remember the troops overseas. Keep them in your hearts, and all the public workers and first responders that kept us safe throughout and after the storm. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Janice Kisty, Jackson Township Clerk. Time is now 7:30 p.m. Welcome to the regularly scheduled council meeting of August 11th, 2020. And I'll begin with a roll call. Councilman Bressi.
Here.
Councilman Chisholm. Here. Councilman Fleming.
Here.
Council Vice President Kern.
Here.
Council President Sawicki is absent this evening. Attorney Gregory McGuckin.
Here.
And also present this evening are our Mayor, Michael Rena, and Business Administrator Terrence Wall. As clerk of this meeting, I publicly announce that in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been advertised in the manner prescribed by law, and this statement shall be entered into the minutes of the meeting. We'll begin with opening comments from Township Council. Councilman Bressi.
All way of comments. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Have a safe trip home. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Chisholm.
Good evening. Glad everybody could make it. I know a few of you had a rough week with this recent storm, myself included. Thankfully, my power was restored after midnight on Friday. I am told by those at JCP&L, as they were working rather hard, I know that they had a lot of out-of-state workers come in to assist, and I'm told that there are only 3 households that are without power at this time, and they are waiting for independent contractors to help them. If you are out there watching and for some reason you are someone that has not had your power restored, feel free to reach out to me at my email through the township, and I will put you in contact with the right person at JCP&L to get you restored as quickly as possible. So we'd like to just thank them for their response and getting us all back on board as quickly as possible. And thanks for all of those other first responders that assisted with keeping the traffic flowing and directing things while the lights were out. I know it was not an easy task. So thanks to all and have a good evening.
Thank you. Councilman Fleming.
Thank you. Good evening. I have 2 things I'd like to talk about this evening. The first, like Steve mentioned, we had a short, very intense storm come through Jackson, causing damage township-wide. It seems like everyone experienced some level of pain and inconvenience. During that storm, and immediately following, our fire companies, who utilize a career staff during the day and volunteers at night, responded to 151 total alarms. While most of those were alarms or wires down, Stations 56, 57 did respond to an involved structure in our own town, as well as going to Lakewood, along with Station 55, to help with an involved commercial building. At the same time, Station 55 also had crews out in Howell, helping them with a structure fire. Our first aid squad responded to 59 calls on their own, in addition to sending a unit to virtually every fire call we had. I'd like to commend all of our emergency service organizations for a job well done, and I'd like to remind everyone that these organizations are largely volunteer and can always use new members. Thank you. On a second topic, this is something I was going to do at last meeting, but we had other stuff on the fire. Our residents have been voicing considerable dissatisfaction with their Optimum service and their poor service relating to their cable services and phone services. As township residents ourselves, we are seeing interruptions in our own cable and Wi-Fi and phone services. Given the lockdown orders we've been living under, and the manner in which our children are being taught, as well as the amount of parents working from home, these systems need to be more reliable than ever. Working with our administration, Jackson Township has lodged a formal complaint with Altice in the hope that immediate steps will be taken to resolve their problems and provide the service we need and deserve. If a solution and improvement does not occur in a reasonable amount of time, we will do what we need to increase the pressure to make it right. The township has put up a link on our website for residents to file complaints with Altice. In our discussions with Altice, there have only been minimal complaints lodged. We urge anyone and everyone with issues and concerns to go to the website and make your voice heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Vice President Kern.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would first like to congratulate our council president, who had the absolute privilege to marry an amazing woman on Saturday. Congratulations to Alex and Maggie. Yes. I want to echo Councilman Chisholm and Councilman Fleming's comments, thanking all of the first responders, police, fire, and first aid, who worked so hard during and after the storm. Thank you to the administration, the mayor and the administration, and the Department of Public Works, and all of the crews that have spent many hours working to make our roads safe and restore utilities. I'd like to congratulate the Jackson Jags Last Dance World Series baseball team, fielded by a group from Jackson Memorial. These young men made all of Jackson proud and gave us something to cheer for. Today, this council will have the opportunity to vote on a new section of the Jackson Township Code that would ban short-term rentals of homes and their amenities within the township. Once again, this council is demonstrating our commitment to sustaining and improving the rural quality of life and open space our residents love and enjoy. We all must do everything in our power to safeguard our residents against those whose only goal is to profit off of our wonderful township. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and please get home safely. Madam Clerk, if the mayor, would you like to make a comment?
If it's okay with you, Council Vice President, I'll wait till the end of the meeting.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Yeah. Mayor Rena?
No, he's
Oh,
going to wait
you-
for the end of the meeting.
You said you're waving.
If you would be so
See, my-
kind, I'd like to reserve comments till the end of the meeting. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. My hearing's going. I apologize. I was in another world here. Okay. Move on to approve executive, may I have a motion to approve executive session meeting minutes for July 28th, 2020?
So moved.
I have a
Council-
motion and a second. Could I roll call, please?
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinances for second reading. Ordinance 12-20 is an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, establishing Chapter 350 of the Township Code of the Township of Jackson, prohibiting short-term rentals of residential dwellings, amenities, or features thereof. We will now have a public hearing on this ordinance. If you wish to speak on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record.
Hi, Joe DeLuca at 54 Mill Pond. I just wanted to ask, is there a grandfather law that's mandatory with this ordinance? Meaning anyone who's already doing short-term rentals before the ordinance is enacted, are they grandfathered to continue to be allowed to do that?
No.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Seeing no further comments, we'll move to close the public session on this.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to approve ordinance 12-20 on second reading. Advertise the notice of passage and approval in an approved newspaper as required by law.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Thank you. Prior to opening public comment on resolutions, I'd like to announce that Resolution 278R-20 is removed from the agenda this evening for further consideration. At this time, we will have public comment on resolutions only. If you wish to speak on resolutions, please come to the microphone now.
Seeing no one come forward, I move to close public session.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you. As announced just a few minutes ago, 278R-20 is removed. 279R-20 is to authorize the purchase of 5 2021 police interceptor SUV vehicles in the amount of $168,338.75 from buyer Ford, an approved Cranford Co-op vendor for the police department.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
280R-20, authorize contract award to Mavron Incorporated in the amount of $24,682 for an animal transport conversion package for the Department of Animal Control.
Second.
I have a
Councilman
motion and a second. Roll call.
Thank you. Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
281R-20, authorize release to Thomas Bergstrom of the performance bond guarantee issued for Getz Lane Estates, located on Getz Lane, Block 180, Lot 9.01.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
282R-20, authorized purchase of electronic equipment from Wireless Electronics Incorporated in the amount of $38,164.75 for 5 police vehicles.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Thank you. May I have a motion for bills and claims?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilman Bressi?
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm? Thank you. Councilman Fleming?
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Move on to the consent agenda, which is one vote for all of these resolutions. 283R-20, approved Township Council meeting minutes of July 28, 2020. 284R-20, authorized renewal of campground license to Butterfly Camping Resort located at 360 Butterfly Road, Block 15301, Lot 31. 285R-20, authorized renewal of campground license to Timberland Lake Campground located at 1335 Reed Road, Block 10901, Lot 11. 286R-20, approve the cancellation of taxes for a disabled veteran exemption on Block 6101, Lot 1. 287R-20, approve the cancellation of taxes for a disabled veteran exemption on Block 10001, Lot 68. 288R-20, approve the cancellation of taxes for a disabled veteran surviving spouse exemption on Block 23108, Lot 33. 289R-20, authorize added DPW lien taxes on various properties. 290R-20, authorize the preparation, advertisement, and acceptance of bids for the 2020 road program for the Department of Engineering. 291R-20, amend Resolution 110R-20 authorizing purchases from approved New Jersey state contract vendors for the calendar year 2020 to add Wireless Electronics Incorporated as an authorized vendor for Panasonic. 292R-20, authorize amendment to Resolution 075R-20 for the Municipal Alliance Agreement between the Ocean County Board of Health and Jackson Township to provide for the township's acceptance and receipt of $14,292.45 from the state of New Jersey through the County of Ocean for the period of October 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. 293R-20, authorize amendment to Resolution 060R-19 for for the Municipal Alliance Agreement between the Ocean County Board of Health and Jackson Township to provide for the township's acceptance and receipt of $800 from the state of New Jersey through the County of Ocean for the extended fifth quarter period of July 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2020. 294R-20, authorizing an amendment to the 2020 budget to allow for the change in text or title pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-85, matching grant portion of fiscal year 2020 Municipal Alliance Grant, July 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020. 295R-20, approval for the insertion of a special item of revenue and appropriation pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87, Municipal Alliance Grant, July 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020. And 296R-20 is to authorize the preparation, advertisement, and acceptance of bids for the project Improvements to Brewers Bridge, Phase 3, for the Department of Engineering. May I have a motion, please?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Thank you. Councilman Bressi.
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm. Councilman Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Kern.
Yes, and well done on that enormous list.
And I was busy, yeah. Okay. We will now have public comment on any topic. Please address the council at the microphone and kindly identify your name and address for the record.
Richard Egan, 526 Diamond Road. I want to thank the public service people, all the town employees, for the wonderful job that they did during the emergency. It was a group effort. But I want to thank the mayor from, once again, time of crisis, leading from the front, getting us additional resources. And town was restored pretty quickly. So I think we have to be thankful, and once again, I'll speak to Councilman Chisholm. We need a chainsaw massacre. We need to cut trees away from these power lines. I mean, like they do in civilization, not Stevie Wonder's tree service. That aside, great job, especially in the DPW did a great job cleaning up the side roads. They were out there with chainsaws, cleaning up the roads real quick. And like I say, Mr. Mayor, nice job. I appreciate it. My pal was back in the day, so I can't complain. And I have 2 trees down in my yard, so I can't complain. Secondly, this is for Mr. Wall. Have we found out anything more about the investigation on this rave house party that happened a couple of weeks back from the police?
Well, just briefly, I wouldn't be able to comment on it on an ongoing investigation, but I can assure you that we're looking at the issue in its entirety at the Jackson Police Department and any other related organizations that they would communicate or coordinate with.
So what you're saying is basically that there is an ongoing investigation despite writing the summonses for...
I would need to defer to Jackson Police Department for any official commentary on an investigation, to what extent it's concluded or still ongoing. I apologize. I would just need to defer to them for that particular matter.
Okay, because I've received 10 phone calls from people I know and people I don't know, and I've been stopped numerous times at Quick Check and Stop and Shop. What are the cops doing? How can I buy a firearm? How can I buy a gun to protect my house? Because people are really nervous here. This can't die a silent death. These people have to be brought to some kind of justice, not a summons that's going to end up that these 2 females, I can tell you right now, from my experience, and I know a little bit about this, these 2 females are in the wind. New IDs, go-away money, and a pocket full of money for their little part in this. You're never going to find them in Newark. They don't live there. And the guy who owns the house, when his summons is due and he has to appear in court, he will be conveniently out of the country on a family emergency. And his lawyer will drag this on until it just up and disappears and nothing will happen. So I urge you, I urge all of you to find out and get as much information and pressure law enforcement agencies that are involved in this. The prosecutor's office was there, the Jackson Police Department, the state police. This can't die a silent death, okay? Because if this can happen in one neighborhood, it can happen anywhere. And granted, you passed the B&B ordinance, but with all these social apps that these kids know about, they can whip up a party in 5 minutes. Look what happened in Howell over the weekend. 500 people had a rave party. There was a party in California. 4 people were shot, 1 was killed. Is that what we're gonna wait for? Or a home invasion, an opportune home invasion maybe, at one of these crazy parties? Can't have it. So I urge all of you to stay on top of this. I thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Krakowski, 43 Mill Pond Road. Just wanted to reiterate what Rich said. I hope there's a investigation going on. I did email the chief, and I got some bullshit answer, you know, as usual. But I also wanted to talk about the Optimum and the electrical system. So like you were saying, Marty, we don't have fiber in this town. That would help a lot if they had fiberglass, you know, because you can put a hell of a lot more data. In some areas, maybe, yeah. Because it's like how the overdevelopment affects the electrical system and the Optimum system, because they keep tapping into it. And between this point and that point, you can only get so much data on this line. They don't improve anything until it gets bad, not ahead of time. In the electrical system, I am an electrician, and I do work for First Energy in the switch yards. They usually have a redundant system where the circuits will come in from both sides, and the tiebreaker's open. When something gets smashed over here, they clear it clear. They'll turn the tiebreaker on to try to get people power. And a lot of circuits in this area are overloaded to the max, where they can't do that. So that's another reason it takes a lot longer to get fixed. You know, they're not going to tell you that at First Energy. And then the other thing, when they have all the out-of-town linemen that come in, they don't get clearance. So they have to wait for somebody like me or somebody local to give them clearance. So they may show up on a job site, and they have to sit there for hours and wait for clearance for somebody that's been to school with the power company in order to call in to get clearance before they can go up and touch it. So that's where a lot of people complain. They say, oh, the lineman ain't doing nothing. They can't. They can't touch anything until they get the clearance. So, I don't know. I didn't write nothing else down, so I'm good. Have a good night.
Thank you. For him? Sure.
Just a brief item, Council Vice President, Mayor, and Council. Following on Councilman Fleming's comment, the website does have a link. That link goes directly to the government affairs rep for Altice. And from a timing standpoint, we're particularly interested in complaints and service deficits towards the end of May, June, July, and to present. Or on or about May, they did what's called, from a technical standpoint, for those that are in this field, they split 2 nodes in 2 particular areas. And I'm sorry I don't have them with me, but they split 2 nodes to manage bandwidth. And the bandwidth is only going to get more significantly challenged come September, when with school and other different dynamics. So that happened on or about May. So service deficits prior to that may have been addressed by those node splits as they were described, but anything in late May, June, July, August, now, of course, it's incredibly important, to Councilman Fleming's point, to log on to Jackson TWPNJ, the website, and to file, to fill out the complaint. It does go straight to the government affairs rep. It's going to the folks that can, should, and are obligated to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nino Borelli, 36 Winthrop Drive, Jackson, New Jersey. Just want to thank you to our police, fire, EMS, and our township administration for their response to last week's storm and for their continuing efforts in that area. Also, I volunteer in Jackson. serving as a member on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. So land use issues are of great interest to me. So I want to speak about the banning of short-term rentals in residential dwellings, Ordinance 12-20. I want to thank you guys for introducing and passing the law. No resident or neighborhood should live in fear, have their private property rights infringed upon, or worry about the devaluing of their properties. Also, the public health and safety and quality of life of our town's residents and neighborhoods should be of the utmost importance to local government and our elected officials. So I want to thank you for your leadership on this issue. Take care and have a good evening.
Thank you. Kenny?
Seeing no one else moving forward for public comment, move to close the public session.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just,
Mr. Mayor?
Mayor.
Thank you. I held my comments till the end because I didn't want to take away from the meeting. I'm going to be brief, but I'll try to be as thorough as I can. You know, you can't say enough about what goes on inside of your town. It's day by day, and we shouldn't have to wait for a storm to realize the importance of how a township comes together. Councilman Fleming, volunteer fireman for as long as I can remember, I think as long as he can remember, his family as well. It's a perfect example. You have first aid Al Cachero's here tonight, you have retired law enforcement, you have people that volunteer constantly. Jackson Township continually comes out and supports itself no matter what happens. This was a little storm that was supposed to come up the coast and just bother all of the seaboard communities. Instead, it comes into Jackson and it wallops us, it wallops Millstone. Your first responders left their families, went out, and did what they had to do for days on end. The linemen that have been on the street, same thing. So I'm constantly thanking our first responders, the same way I thank the United States military for their service, because these people leave their families, they leave the comforts of their own home, and they never know what they're going to come into. And when you've been out in as many storms as we have been through, the dangers are the ones that you don't see. It's that branch that's going to come through your windshield. It's that live wire in that tree that you're not paying attention to. The call that first aid's going on, fire's going on, the police cruiser coming down the street, hits a puddle of water. So I can't stress it enough what our first responders do for all of us. Council Vice President mentioned before about the Jackson Jags. Last Dance World Series came in second out of 222 teams in the state. I made 4 or 5 phone calls. All our first responders gave them an escort from Glory's Market to the high school. This happened in a couple of hours. It was all taken care of. Again, first responders stopping what they're doing, police, fire, first aid, can't thank them enough. You look around and you saw me with the governor. Some people had some negative comments. Listen, it's no secret that the governor and I disagree politically on policies, but he's the governor. He decided to come to Jackson to survey the damage, and I welcomed him here, as well as the president of JCP&L. Could they have done a better job? Even the governor said yes. They did what they had to do. We got power back. Unfortunately, there were incidences where the damage was so bad that some people were restored as early as this afternoon. And Councilman Chisholm said, I think there's 3 left. I'm hoping by the end of the night they're all back to power. So being prepared is another thing. We have, looks like we're having a very active hurricane season as per NOAA. So be advised, take the necessary precautions. We have no idea what's going to happen. Council, thank you for acting swiftly on the Airbnb. I think it's a public safety issue. It always has been, always will be. If it's not monitored correctly, for whatever the case may be, all of our residents matter. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in. We're going to look into anything that's not going to be going well, and who's ever doing it is not going to be doing well. Administrator Wall, thank you for explaining to the public that if there's an ongoing investigation, it is out of our lane, and we're not going to comment on it. Make no mistake about it, there are incidences that go on through Jackson be it anti-Semitism. There was a very bad incident happened in 60 Acres where it looks like it's a racist activity. The police department are looking into that. We're not going to tolerate any of it. We're not going to tolerate any hate. And we're not going to tolerate bullies, and we're not going to put up with fake news either. This administration is not going to sway like a branch in a bad storm because somebody wrote something negative. We're going to find out what it is, and we're going to fix it. Quality of life and your safety means paramount, and it's always going to stay that way. You see it with the police being hired. You see with our support for first responders. That being said, thank you all for coming out. We weathered the storm once before. We're going to keep on doing them together. Jackson Township, we can't thank you enough for you sticking by us this whole time. Thank you all. Have a good night. Be safe going home. Thank you, Council Vice President.
You're welcome. Can I get a motion to close?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Have a good night, everybody.